Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ed America TV. My name is James, one of the e-guides here at Ed America, and we welcome audience members joining us online. We hope that you guys are doing well and staying safe. Ed America is the United States Embassy's American Center, and our mission is to provide a space for young Indonesians to learn more about the United States. In this episode, we'll be having LabX 2021. But before we begin, let's break the ice with a little game. I have here a question for everybody. Which university was ULAB first offered as a course? There are several options. Is it the Stanford University, Georgia Institute of Technology, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or the University of Virginia? Stay tuned until the end of this program because we'll be giving a live shout out to whoever can answer correctly on our social medias. I'd also like to let everyone know that as continuation of Ed America's 10th year anniversary, and the diversity within the United States and Indonesia, we are holding an activity along with a giveaway. That giveaway is an iPad Pro, and to learn more, stay until the end of this program to find out how. Other than that, don't forget to take a selfie and tag at America's Instagram account. And now, without further ado, let me introduce everyone to Scott Hartman, the Regional Public Engagement Specialist from the U.S. Embassy Jakarta, to give his opening remarks. But Scott, the stage is yours.
Thank you. And wonderful to be here with all of you. We welcome everybody who's tuning in online, whether you're tuning in via the YSealy Facebook page or right here also via At America or any of the other social media. A big welcome out to all of our YSealy members from across Southeast Asia who are joining us today. We had over 3,000 people apply to join the course via Zoom. We have a number of them here inside the Zoom channel, but we hope that all the rest of you are tuning in via the social media. So welcome once again. We're really excited to start this journey one more year together with you all and hope that whatever questions you have, whatever comments you have, and whatever reactions you have, please just put them in the text below, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. We have a huge team of facilitators that are ready to engage with you and ready to answer all of your questions. So without further ado, I will pass it over to our fantastic, dynamic ULab team to get us started. Bye, everybody.
All right. Thank you so much, Scott, for welcoming us so warmly into this space, and not only for the facilitating team, but also for our participants. Welcome again. Thank you for being here with us on this Saturday. I'm just going to get us started and introduce everyone and why we're doing this. This is actually a first time for us as well. ULab has been, or at least LabX has been traditionally offered as a hybrid in-person with online cross-posting offering. And so this is our first time doing it completely online. So it's going to be a new adventure for us. And thank you for joining. And we hope that you have a good time as well and find a meaningful experience through the next 6 or 7 weeks with us. My name is Shilby Lawalata, and I'm one of the facilitators for this course. There's actually about 22 of us, perhaps, in total, who you will be seeing over the course of. There we are. Who you will be seeing over the course of the next 7 weeks in rotation, because we believe that we want to recreate that intimate conversation, that intimate space, that intimate feeling that you get when you're in a room with other people. And so our co-facilitators will be helping you hopefully achieve that effect in our many, many small group discussions. I think if I can just have the co-facilitators raise your hand so that you can be bumped up, your video can be bumped up. And then you can open your cam and wave your hands. So they're also from all over Southeast Asia. We have, you can see Jada from the Philippines, Igor is from Timor-Leste. We have some from Indonesia, from Malaysia. Lynn is from Myanmar. Harold is from the Philippines. So it's gonna be a celebration of diversity, not only among the participants, but also among the facilitating team. And we wanna take advantage of that as well. when we go into the breakout room, sometimes we might break you up into language too, so that you're more comfortable speaking sometimes, not always, in your own native language. So who are we and why do we do this? Thank you so much, co-facilitators. You'll be seeing more of them as we go throughout the 6 weeks. And of course, actually, you might not recognize me. I'm the one on the top left. That's me. I used to sport a short hair. This is my pandemic hair. And to the right of my photo is Mita. Mita is my wingman, my co-pilot. She will be also leading the session for today. And Mita and I are based out of an organization in Jakarta called United in Diversity. And the methodology of systems change and leadership capacity building behind ULab has been our core approach in the work that we do in real world challenges, working with cross-sector meaning we work with government, but also with civil society and also with businesses to look at how we can create a more sustainable, happier, more resilient future for our future generations. We believe in trying to be good ancestors. You know, we all eventually become ancestors, right? It's a question about how we, in our capacity as government, in our capacity as business practitioners, in our capacity as citizens or as NGOs or wherever we might be, to co-create a better future for all of us. So you see those three circles. We believe each one of us has the ability to contribute to that common future that is better than the one that we're experiencing right now, which, as great as it is, we know is far from ideal, right? So we work across many different layers. So we do work with at the individual level. I think I would say that to a large extent, ULab is an individual transformation process. Leadership capacity building is inherently an individual transformation process, right? You get better systems by having better leaders who are better human beings. And what can you next advance the slide, please? We work towards this happiness for all, and what we believe is, I hope you're somewhat familiar with this, the boxes. They're the Sustainable Development Goals. I think in 2015, the United Nations come up with this, you know, hey, we're not doing too greatly collectively as a planet, as a global society. So how can we make the next 15 years better for everyone? So the United Nations came up with the Sustainable Development Goals. There are 17 goals, far-reaching across different issues like poverty, education, better jobs, or a healthier environment, healthier oceans, partnerships, and so on and so forth. And apparently, if you stack them across, you see number 1 to 10 is harmony with people. And then number 11 to 15 is actually harmony with the planet or ecological harmony. And then 16 to 17, more or less are like spiritual values, right? How can we be better versions of ourselves? And we see that these become like a pyramid. So we call them the SDG pyramid. And the ultimate goal is happiness, right? We want to create happiness, not only for now, not for the people who live now, but also for the future generations, as I mentioned earlier. So, and yeah, we do this through working with different institutions, that's on the left side, and also working through various transformational process in ministries, with people across systems, or also at the global level. So this work is very near and dear to our hearts. You can just advance through that. I think I just blasted through that. This work is very something that we do day in and day out, and we're very excited to be working with at America and YSEALI to be bringing this approach to a wider community. I do believe that at the end of the day, you can only create better society when we have better people in it, right? And so through this LabX opportunity, with all of you who are sitting here in this space with us, we hope that you will emerge on the other end, being better versions of yourself, more kinder towards yourself, kinder towards others, kinder towards the environment, and understanding how we together can work to create better futures. So with that, I want to turn it over to Mita, I think,
Yep.
to introduce the ULab program itself.
All right. Thank you, Kashobi. Also, here we have, when UID, we have this tradition when somebody just shared and giving their very positive and powerful energy to us. We have this thing called the power whoosh. So across the 6 week, you'll always be listening to this power whoosh. Some say that other than the certificates, the thing that you learn most from ULab is the power whoosh. So the power whoosh goes like this. When I say power whoosh, and then you go back 1, 2, 3, whoosh. So power whoosh to Shobi for sharing about our co-facilitators and UID. Power whoosh to you. 1, 2, 3, whoosh. All right. And I know that a lot of you are not only joining from Zoom, you're also joining from the social medias across the YCL platform, the At America platform as well. Do bring your voice in. We really want to listen to you across the today's session and also across the 6 weeks. You can tag us through these social medias and also comment in the Facebook pages. I know that some of you are also watching in the Facebook Live and the Instagram Live as well, maybe. And do use these hashtags, the hashtag ULab and also hashtag ULabX. We really want to listen to your voices. And we also have a team going on at the background who will take in your voices and also share them here. If there's any questions, you can also share them through the social media and tag us there. So other than these, we also want to introduce you. Some of you may be familiar with these, but some of you may not. So we want to try this out first. This is called the Mentimeter. So what you need to do is go onto your browser or your website or your phones and open the website www.menti.com and fill in the code 61186708. So what we want to do here is we want to collect your voices. This is a very interactive and real-time tool. We want to listen to you and how do you feel starting on in this learning journey of LabX with us. So I will stop share here and open up your voices through the ULab Mentimeter. So you will be surprised to see how real time all of these are. Okay. And there you go. So if you put in your voices, it will come up in the screen. So in one word, how do you feel about starting your learning journey with us? A lot of you are excited. So the more words that come up, the bigger the word will be. So a lot of you are feeling excited. That's very great to hear. Joyful, butterflies. Privilege. This very positive words coming out. I'm so happy. Interested, privilege. And also on the top right, on the bottom right of my page, you can see the numbers of people putting their voices in. There's around 55 at the moment. Yay, yay. Amazing love, passionate. So do bring your voice in, keep them coming. We will see them again. And wow, the numbers are going up rapidly. It's 86 now. And so happy to hear your voices, even though that we're not meeting in person, but as this now that we're evolving to more online presence, we actually can take more of your voices as well. So, okay, some of you are also confused and curious about what we are going to learn about for the next 6 weeks. That's good. Now to start and understand and relieve your curiosity for a bit, we will go back and introduce a bit about what is it that we're going to learn. And so you've been listening and you've been hearing a lot about ULab, Theory U, but what is it exactly and why are we here? So, oops. Okay. Let me go to the next slide. Okay. Now we have 143 people tuning in. Awesome.
I guess that means that some of you are dialing in from outside the Zoom. So hello to all of you. Thanks for tuning in from wherever you are. Thanks for joining.
Cool. So happy to have a very large audience tuning in. So to start things up, yeah, you've heard about ULab. You've maybe heard about Theory U. So ULab initially is an online course, also firstly admitted in the, if you've heard and also joined other massive open online courses from EDX. So this program is actually a massive open online course from EDX that is established by the Presencing Institute and the MIT. So it is initiated by Professor Otto Scharmer, who founded the Theory U initially. And it's a social technology. Theory U itself is a social technology to understand ourselves better and bringing the best version of ourselves to bring a more profound changes in our community, in our society worldwide. So this is a very, so this course itself has been ongoing for a couple of years, and a lot of people from around the world has gathered, and a lot of people have also been tuning in through the Presencing Institute programs as well. So now we want to introduce this to you because along the way we've understand that there are so many global challenges that we face as worldwide and affects us all equally, as such as the ones they're facing together right now is the COVID-19 pandemic that is not only affects us personally in so many different ways, but it also affects us all globally, as we, a lot of us are maybe not prepared for this shift to happen, right? I mean, who in 2020, yeah, maybe some already prepared, but maybe in early 2020, we wouldn't think that we're all going to be stuck in our houses until more than a year. Even in 2020, when we did the last year's iteration of ULab, we were still doing it half live and half also on our homes. So it was a very it was a very profound shift for us as well. We're learning something new, and also it's been affecting us all globally. And throughout the years, these changes, these unpredictable changes, have been keep happening, right? Even the climate change has affected us all, even in very different ways, like these extreme weathers, and also the cyclone that has happened in East Timor, and also our friends in Entete has affected us very dearly. And it wasn't like this a couple of years ago, and throughout the years, rapid changes and also more profound disruption has been happening worldwide, right? So it's becoming, these changes has, and also these challenges has been a part of our life so dear, and also is becoming something that is inevitable anymore, right? And if to sum it up, these challenges into three big chunks, we can sum it up as these three divides. So it's, the first one is the ecological divide, where there's this gap, this disconnect between ourselves and nature. And if we were to sum it up in a number, it would be 1.7, because that is actually the number of Earth that is needed to accommodate our lifestyle. It's more than one. That means that we're taking also a part of the Earth that should be used for our next generation, right? So we're actually taking what's not ours. We're taking the Earth that is supposed to be used by our future generations. And the next one is the social divide, which is the disconnect between ourselves and also the others, because there's this gap of such as if it's to sum up with the number is 8, because that's the number of the richest people whose wealth is almost the same as the people living in the lower income population. It's the wealth gap is so immense, and it's not supposed to be like that, right? But then it's the system that's bringing us up into this divide. And lastly, the divide is also the spiritual divide, which is the disconnect between ourself and our best potential future self. So ourself with a lower S and also ourself with a capital S, is the best version of ourselves. So to sum it up with a number, it's 40, because that's in 40 seconds worldwide, there are numbers of people who took their own lives in each second. So that's around 800,000 deaths per year due to them people taking their own lives. Maybe one of them, it's also because they can't understand their best potential future self, the best version of themselves they can be. So why are these three divides are pictured as an like the tip of the iceberg? Because underneath that, there's more complex systems going on, and that enables these divides to happen worldwide. So our challenges now is then how can we go beyond these challenges and see what is actually beneath our blind spot, and go underneath that and understand better what is it that can we do and what is our role to fulfill all of that, right? So some of the blind spot that we may see is that sometimes the things we do are not, we're just doing that without thinking, and that is actually like a snowball effect, and giving in part for these divides to happen. So is to sum it up, like our mindset of our success, of being only measuring success through capitalistic growth, economic growth, is also one of the things that enables these divides to happen, such as if, because of us focusing only on economic growth, we tend to be more destructive, and we tend to use fossil fuels that are not sustainable, and then dividing ourselves with the nature. And also our parameter of being only to focus on the success of capital growth and only focusing on ourselves, being dividing us with with the others as well, because we only think of focusing on only certain groups to reach this wealth. And also these mindset may push us to work overtime, overload, and also making that divide between ourselves and taking care of ourselves better, becoming more larger. So that's the three divides. And our invitation to you is to go underneath this and also understand that we all are actually have a part in this. So to sum it up, we actually collectively create results that nobody wants, because our small actions may be like, if I charge my phone at night overnight, I thought that would be harmless, but actually it's going to use more fossil fuels, and that contributes to climate change as well. But because I was thinking only for myself and not thinking systematically worldwide, and that keeps on happening and creates a snowball, and all of us are doing that together, that creates this changes that we didn't thought it would create, right? So Shobi, do you want to add anything? Oh, you're still muted.
No, it's okay. Yeah, my mouse. Right. Yeah. No, continue.
All right. So, but other than this very grim future and also this grim story that I just told you, there's actually very more positive stories worldwide as well, because like in Bhutan, they already measured their success not only by economistic and capital growth, but also they measure through happiness that is more sustainable and really encapsulates the nature and also the people and the connection within them as well. So there are places worldwide that are also has made positive changes, such as in Indonesia. We has also transformed our workplace and workforce system, and also in some cities. We've had more positive stories like this open government in Bodunagoro. And I do believe as well, you, the young leaders who are joining us, and also our wisely members has also made very profound and positive changes in your communities. And also some of you has also done very positive changes in even in the national level and international level. So there are positive stories worldwide that are happening. There's sparks of positive transformations that are happening, and we need to trust that it's possible to create change, and it is only possible if we do it together. So now our invitation to you is to go beyond that three icebergs, the tip of the icebergs, and to understand that okay, the thing that we have doing, the habit that we have doing worldwide isn't sustainable anymore, and we need to shift. We need to try something new and go beyond what we usually do, the business as usual. So here, the core of Theory U is to go beyond our downloading our past patterns, the things that has made what we see, what is happening today, and observe what is actually happening, both what is outside and also observe what is inside, and go deep down in ourselves and reflect. What is it that is actually I'm trying to serve in this world? What challenges do I want to go into? And also, what are the core things what of the transformation that I try to give in this world? And that core, you try it in an instant, you prototype it, you give it back to the world. So that's the core movement of Theory U, to go to to understand better to yourself, and also bringing that best version of yourself into the world and create profound and transformative changes. So this is in a nutshell what is Theory U, and what are we going to learn about for the course of the 6 weeks coming. And we'll dive deeper into all of those, because we understand that you need to be the leader that you want to see create change in the world. And we understand through Theory U, one of the core what is the foundations of Theory U is we understand that the intervention that you're trying to give depends on the interior condition of you who being the intervener. So to break down the movement of the you that I've shared before, we go past our past patterns and go see the world with fresh eyes and really sensing what is it in the world that is we need to give, and go back to ourselves and connect to our deeper source. What is it I'm trying to give into the world? And crystallize that intention, that transformative change that you want to happen, and prototype them. And by all of us doing the same thing, the profound changes that we want to see in the world, hopefully as a society, we can evolve to be a more compassionate and a more understanding and aware society. All of this is also will be enabled if we can keep our minds open to understand some more new things, more profound things, and also open our hearts to understand better the people that we're serving with, and also open will, wanting to create change, opening that will to create more profound change. So that's a bit of an intro from my side, but the theory itself is actually established by Professor Otto Scharmer from MIT, and we will listen to him more about Theory U and about ULab initially through the video. So that's can be played. So we will watch a video from Otto about the intro on Theory U.
We live in an age of profound disruption, where something is ending and dying, and something else is wanting to be born. What's ending and dying is a civilization that's built on a mindset of maximum me, of bigger is better, and of special interest group-driven decision-making that has led us into a state of organized irresponsibility. What's being born is less clear. It's a future that requires us to connect with the deeper level of our and who we want to be as a society. How can we build the capacity to sense and actualize a future that we feel is possible, we know is possible, but that isn't quite there yet? That question is at the very heart of this course. I'm Otto Scharmer, Senior Lecturer at MIT, and I will be facilitating your journey through ULab, transforming business, society, and self. Guiding our approach will be a method that is based on sensing, connecting to our deeper sources of knowing, and action learning. While the method itself is new, many of its principles have been known by change makers for generations. In fact, in the Western world, you can trace some of its foundations to this place, Walden Pond, just outside of Boston. Here is where Henry David Thoreau came in order to connect to the deeper essence of what his life and work was about. Think about the influence that his writing had on social movements around the world. What all these movements share is an understanding that to really profoundly change the world requires us to connect to our emerging self. And in order to discover who you really are, you need to go out into the world. Many people say, for all the talk about change, it rarely ever happens. But in my lifetime, I have seen tectonic shifts several times. I saw it when the Berlin Wall came down in 1989. I saw it when the apartheid system in South Africa collapsed, and we witnessed the peaceful transition into the post-apartheid era. And I'm seeing it now with the rise of China, as the center of gravity of the world economy has been shifting from the West to East Asia. And yet, I believe that the most significant disruptive change of our generation is yet to come. It has to do with the transformation of capitalism itself. The transformation of capitalism depends on our ability to reshape how we connect to each other, to the system, and to ourselves. So join us in ULab, transforming business, society, and self.
Sorry, I'm still muted. All right. Thank you, Otto, for introducing all about ULab. Hopefully that could give you a better understanding, a better overview of the things, of the core of the things that we're going to learn for the next 6 weeks. So, but if you still have questions or if there's any insights that you would like to share with us, please do so. Please connect us through our social media, as now we want to bring in your voice. And for those of you joining in through Zoom, you can also comment in the chat box. We will read your comments or questions here in the room. As well as for those of you joining in through Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, you can comment, and our team could circle the loop up and bring your voices in. So also we will also open through the Mentimeter again. If you are still opening up the last Mentimeter link, we have opened a new question for you. So you can share your insights with us through the Mentimeter link as well, because we do want to hear from you, because I've been talking a lot about the challenges that might seem bleak, but there's also positive changes that are happening, and we want to hear from you. And also because we can't see your faces here, we're distance, so it's really great if we can hear from you. So I think our team is already looping through the Scott and Shinta and also Jara as well, and also the team from YC and the America team. Jara, do we have any interesting questions or remarks from our online participants? Is Jara there?
Nick, I think the mentee need to be advanced.
Oh, all right. Oh, there you go.
There you go. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you for noting that up. So if there's any interesting comments in Facebook or Twitter, if you want to bring that up.
Yeah, someone from our Facebook, somebody left a comment here. So it was an interesting remark. So since I think this is from your lecture, that we need to realize from Brian, he said we need to realize that our environment is everybody's responsibility, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's true. Power wish to Brienne. Power wish to Brienne. Yeah.
Right.
1, 2, 3. Whoosh. That's true. That's true. We're all part of the system.
Mhm.
Speaking of,
Or
there will
somebody
be. Go ahead, Jara.
Yeah. By the way, somebody asked here if they can access, if they can have a copy of the PowerPoint.
Of course. Sure thing. So later on, at the end of the session, we will share a Google Drive link where all of the documents that are shared today and also a homework, surprise, surprise, will also be shared at the end of the session. So do follow us up until the end of the session where we will share where you can download these PowerPoints. Thank you for the question. All right. So sorry, Shelby, do you want to add anything? Yes?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, Jara, sorry. Do you want to add anything?
Yeah. Also, we have a lot of comments from YouTube. Okay. Anyway, from Amna, she said, I think this is one of the core things about theory. According to Amna, it's transforming ourselves is the key area to changing our surrounding. Right?
Yeah. Hey, that is very correct. It's interesting that we're just starting up, and a lot of you are already very interested in the core of these programs. So I think it's going to be an interesting 6 weeks going on then, especially for us connected through the internet here. So thank you so much for bringing your voices in, and also thank you so much, Jara, for bringing the voices into this learning space. Harush, to you.
1, 2, 3, whoosh. Thank you, Amna. Thank you, Jana. There's a question on the pedagogy of the course here in Zoom, asking whether the course is asynchronous or synchronous. So maybe I'll take that one on. So the synchronous part will be taking place like where we are right now for 2 hours on Saturdays. But of course, this is a course about leadership and growth and transformation, right? And I can guarantee you it's not going to happen by sitting in front of a computer for 2 hours a week. So this is where the asynchronous part becomes very, very important. It's, to me, it's equally important as the time that we spend together, because this is actually the time for you, well, not this, but the asynchronous time is the time for you to take the tools that we introduce in the course and then use it in your everyday life, in your context, whether that's in your family or in your team or your community or your organization. So is it asynchronous or synchronous? I think it's both. In fact, when ULab was first born, we called it the O2O learning model, the online to offline learning model. So thank you so much, Betty, for bringing in your question.
All right. But do keep your questions and also reflections from this session. We want to move on, but we will still have the time to share your questions and also your thoughts as well. So we will listen to you along the way. But just moving along, we want to go back, and as you also all understand, and also listening into your remarks, you do understand that one of the key changes also us bringing ourselves into the system that we want to create change in. So to help that exercise, Shobhi, do you want to jump in?
Sure, thanks, Smith. So this is actually the first leadership discipline that we want to introduce to you for the duration of ULAB. Number one is the discipline of bending back the beam of observation. What does that mean? I think what I see happening a lot in our world, or the way we see ourselves in the world, is that this is us, and our eyes are always towards the world outside, right? About the things that we want to do, about the things that we want to accomplish. And I think, Amna, you very rightfully said earlier that actually, if you want to see change happening outside, you have to start with understanding who you are on the inside first. And so the discipline of bending back the beam of observation means having the discipline to look inward. So if you advance the slide a bit. Yes, there we go. So it's not just about the things that we want to change about the world, but believe it or not, the world is actually a function of how we bring ourselves, how we are present in the world. So the most guaranteed way of seeing change on the outside is by first changing ourselves. And we do that by developing an intimate knowledge of who we are. And then you will see that you're still connected with the outside. So there's a short video that we want to introduce for this process. This is a known phenomenon. This is called the overview effect. Just a little bit of synopsis. The overview effect is about a group of astronauts back in the 1960s. I think 1968, 69. I wasn't born. But it's all history, right? At the time, there was a big space race between America and Russia trying to get to the moon. It's like the whole balance of the geopolitical world it rests on who achieves this thing first, who sends a man to the moon first. So you can see how it's very heated. Everybody is so tuned in. If you watch Hidden Figures, if you watch First Man, you can kind of feel the excitement about that period. So eventually, it was the Apollo mission that did send people to the moon. But along the way, Apollo 8. This is a movie about Apollo 8. The astronauts coming back from that mission actually said, you know what, we went to outer space, but the most profound experience that we found was not about going out into the stars. It's actually when we turn our observation back to Earth and seeing Earth as one system, as one planet where we share everything together. So as you watch this video, look at it not only as watching astronauts, but think about yourself and your own journey, right? In our lives, we're all trying to get somewhere. We're all trying to achieve something. But let's take a moment to also think about what if we turn the observation back to ourselves and our lives, what do you see? What is it that you see when you look at yourself and not out? Okay, so go ahead and play the video at America team.
In 1968, Apollo 8 went to the moon. They didn't land, but they did circle the moon. And I was watching it on television, and at a certain point, one of the astronauts casually said, "We're going to turn the camera around and show you the Earth." And he did. And that was the first time I had ever seen the planet hanging in space like that, and it was profound.
I think that for me, like for many other people, it was quite a shock. I don't think any of us had any expectations about how it would give us such a different perspective. I think the focus had been, we're going to the stars, we're going to the other planets, and suddenly we look back at ourselves, and it seems to imply a new kind of self-awareness.
One of the astronauts said, when we originally went to the moon, our total focus was on the moon. We weren't thinking about looking back at the Earth. But now that we've done it, that may well have been the most important reason we went.
I can only describe what I've seen. You know, looking down at the Earth, and you see that line that separates day into night slowly moving across the planet. Thunderstorms on the horizon casting these long shadows as the sun sets. And then watching the Earth come alive, and you see the lights from the cities and the towns.
The events you see from space, like flying over thunderstorms, looking at them from the top, were spectacular. Like a fireworks show going on, and you're looking at it from the very top.
You know, shooting stars going below us, or you know, dancing curtains of auroras. It's just very hard to describe all of the, you know, the colors, the beauty, the motion.
My job as lunar module pilot was to be responsible for the lunar module itself and responsible for the science on the moon. So when we started home, I had a little more time to look out the window than the other guys because most of my responsibilities were completed. We were in a particular mode called the barbecue mode. So we were flying like this and rotating like that. What that caused to happen was every 2 minutes, a picture of the Earth, the moon, the sun, and a 360-degree panorama of the heavens appeared in the spacecraft window. And I had studied astronomy, and I had studied cosmology, and fully understood that the molecules in my body, and the molecules, my partner's bodies, and in the spacecraft, had been prototyped in some ancient generation of stars. In other words, it was pretty obvious from those descriptions, we're stardust. Well, that was pretty awesome and powerful, particularly since I had a little more time at this point to be reflective and to think about it.
When we look down at the Earth from space, you know, we see this amazing, indescribably beautiful planet. It looks like a living, breathing organism, but it also, at the same time, looks extremely fragile.
Because you go outside on a clear day and it's the big blue sky, and it's like it goes on forever, right? And how could we possibly, you know, put enough stuff into it to fill it up with things that really change it? And yet, you see it from space, and it's this thin line which is just barely hugging the surface of the planet.
Anybody else who's ever gone to space says the same thing, because it really is striking and it's really sobering to see this paper-thin layer and to realize that that little paper-thin layer is all that protects every living thing on Earth from death, basically, from the harshness of space.
There's this very poetic concept that a lot of people express, that there are no boundaries from space. And I've heard a lot of my astronaut colleagues say that. Unfortunately, it's not true. You do see boundaries. They're mostly the result of human impact. You can see erosion, clear-cutting of forests, and you know, it's a long litany of environmental impact that we've had on our planet, and that's something which, when you see it from a cosmic perspective, makes you really appreciate the concept of Spaceship Earth. I mean, we're all here together.
We humans are responsible for ourselves, and if we are endangering our future, then we've got to learn how to do it differently and to go forward into a sustainable period. And right now, that seems very difficult to see how it's going to be, but we've got to work on it.
When I was above the space station, looking down at the space station, looking down at the, against the Earth, and seeing this, amazing accomplishment, I was thinking, wow, there was 15 nations that worked together to build this amazing orbital complex in space. And if we can, take these 15 nations and do this amazing accomplishment, imagine what we can do by working together, by setting aside our differences for a common goal to overcome some of the challenges facing our planet.
We have this connection to Earth. I mean, it's our home. And I don't know how you can come back and not, in some way be changed. It may be subtle. You see differences in, different people and the just general response when they come back from space. But I think collectively, everybody has that emblazoned on their memories, the way the planet looks. You can't take that lightly. It really, you realize that you've been blessed by the opportunity to see that.
It really does look like this beautiful oasis out in the middle of nothingness. If you have a chance for your eyes to adjust and you can actually see the stars in the Milky Way, it's this oasis in against the backdrop of infinity, this just, enormous universe behind it. And it's, really a very moving experience to be able to see that with your eyes.
You look back at it and it's placed perfectly from the sun to take care of us, and you kind of take that reverse roll on about, okay, well, we need to be taking care of it too, so that it can continue to do that for us. And I don't know how you can't have a greater appreciation for it after you see it that way.
All right. So, Shelby, back to you.
All right. So we want to, as we said, it's not about the video, but it's about how you feel about the video, right? So speaking of bending the beam of observation back, we will be, for those of you joining in Zoom, we will be breaking you up into small groups so that you can share your answers to some of the reflective questions that we have put together. If you would be so kind to show them. So number one is the question around what touched you. Of those 8 minutes that you heard from the video, what were moments that really spoke to you? And then the second one, Theory U talks about something that really has to end and wants to end, and then something else that wants to be born, right? So any moment in time, any moment in history is potentially a gateway to a new future that wants to be born, right? So if you turn the beam of observation back into your life or your work, into your own situation, where are you experiencing this world that is dying and a world that is wanting to be born right now? So for those of you in Zoom, you will be discussing this in a breakout with our co-facilitators. And those of you joining from outside, feel free to sound off through the comment section of YouTube or Facebook, wherever you are joining from. And we will pick out some of your questions as our participants go into the breakout and have a more, I guess, two-way, 1.5-way discussion of your questions. So, all right, when the breakout room is ready, go ahead.
So yes,
Yes,
team,
ready?
yes, ready? All right.
Yeah, yes.
So time is about, we'll spend about, 1 second, about 10 minutes in the breakout. So we'll see you in 10 minutes.
All right, have fun, enjoy the discussion, and get to know between yourselves better. So,
and if you're joining on outside of Zoom, the Menti is also open to harvest your feelings about your reflections from the overview effect video, and maybe we can take a look at that really quick before we go into the questions.
All right.
Comments.
Ooh, we have a lot of questions in chat here. Let me open up the Mentimeter. Okay. So I think in the Zoom room, everyone, a lot of them are already in the breakout rooms. And here on the overview effect, a lot of them are feeling interested. We should take care of our environment because the earth is our only home. Hopefully we can motivate other people to fight for environmental justice. And there's a lot of very interesting insights from here. Hey. Things are bigger than us, therefore hardship is not permanent and changes are always possible. And I think this is also mixed up with our reflections from before. Reflections on the overview effect, how the world changes around human rights, Black Lives Matter, environment, gender equality, LGBT, SDGs, and how the youth can change for a more positive use. Changes are actually happening worldwide, so there are positive changes. Make me wake up and go straight to humanity. Interesting. Am I scrolling this too fast? Just tell me if I'm going too fast.
A little bit, yes.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm totally sorry. All right.
Because I think these are great comments, and I'm glad that we're. It seems like I'm feeling the resonance. I'm feeling that the call of action, the invitation to action that we're putting out through this ULab is resonating with a lot of you, and that I think for me personally, the overview effect is always a great reminder. When you zoom in into our lives, of course, we always make such big conflict about little things, right? But when you zoom out, the entire human history, the entire human existence, like billions of years, is on that little blue planet, right? And so that kind of gives you a perspective of how ultimately we are part of the same system, and we are just a blip in history, a blip in the moment in time, and we're on a trajectory that we're co-creating together at the same time with others in the world, others on the planet. So thanks so much for voicing that out. I see that a lot of you see the same thing. I think I see a few comments highlighting the interconnectedness between self and business and society. So yes, that is absolutely what the theory framework is about, is understanding our place in the system. That I think there was a question that we'll pick up later. We're all part of this, right? The reality that we co-create is our own doing. So.
Great.
Okay, do we have time for, I think we do have time for any questions or comments from YouTube or Facebook, Jara or Scott or Shinda? Maybe before we go to the main question, the big questions, specifically on the overview effect first.
or any comments or interesting insights from our friends joining in?
So there's a really good question here that I think they got it from YouTube as well. So, so the question is that is theory you involves experiencing existential crisis?
No, this is, I think I kind of want to offer it to our co-facilitators, right? You've experienced this. Does it or does it not?
It could be.
No, because actually, it has to be, right? It has to be. For any profound change to happen, you have to have existential crisis because you have, I think in about 4 weeks from now, we will walk you through a process of really understanding what it is that you need to let go so that you can welcome this new view, the new society, the new self, and the new future that you want to co-create. And you can't have the new if you don't want to let go of what was, right? So that's isn't that the very essence of existential question? So in a nutshell, yes, it has to be by nature. So
Yeah, there's also a good. It's not a question. It's a feedback. It's from Doreen May Valar, and she said, "I'm really excited to learn more about Theory U. As someone deeply involved with open government partnership, I want to use what I will be learning here in co-creating our action plan for 2021 and 2022. From what I can tell, I think it's important for people like me who are working in government to be able to learn innovative techniques like Theory U to make sustainable changes that transcend society and government."
that's yeah, I get chills, I get goosebumps from that. Thank you so much, Jetta. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the work of open government partnership. I think the example that we showed earlier from Bojonegoro is also an open government partnership example that was, I think it was done in parallel. So the Theory U application in Bojonegoro was done in parallel with the open government participation. And they totally go hand in hand, right? We believe in the governance should be, we call it the 4D: direct, dialogic, democratic, and digital, employing technology to get real-time feedback, which is also the essence of open government to increase accountability and transparency. So absolutely, and I hope. I mean, there's so much to unpack, and this is also an evolving methodology. There's a very lively branch of practitioners around the world. The 6 weeks is just very much at the surface, and if you want to know more, we're more than happy to point you in the right direction. And connect you with other practitioners around the world that are working on governance issues. So
That was me. I think I have to read this before we move forward because this is a response to what's mentioned in the past video or a very recent statement. So according to Brian from Facebook, she said, "You are right. What's inside you matters. Changes should start from us ourselves. We cannot change the world for the better if we are not willing to change ourselves. Remember the basic principle of teaching. You cannot give what you do not have. You cannot teach what you do not know. So start from yourself."
we have such wise participants this year. I'm very deeply touched. It's true. Yeah.
That's right. I think since we still have some slot in our Zoom, maybe we can invite them next time because this feedback is from Facebook. Yeah, and anyway, we still have time, right? Because
yeah, we have about 4 minutes, maybe.
Okay, so this is
I think two.
Question. Can you sum up what is ULab? What is it for the society, business, and self? Why is it important for the world? I think it's very big question.
Yeah, that's the $1,000,000 question, right? No, but thank you for asking us to re-clarify. What is ULab? I think it's a journey of self-discovery, but the self-discovery is informed through an openness with the world around us. And that's why it's called, transforming business, society, and self, because once you understand the link of how you are as a person, as a human being, and the relationships that you build around you, the institutions that you enact in society or in your organization, they all contribute to making a better society. So I guess that's in a nutshell the journey of ULab. And actually, if you look at the original source material on presensing, this is divided into two steps. So this is ULab 1X, as Presensing Institute calls it. It's mostly on the journey of self-discovery, understanding who you are, who you want to be, and what you want to do. What is your purpose in the world? And the second part is called ULab 2X. It's about prototyping. It's about doing this on a larger scale with your teams or communities. And so, again, that's the beauty of this digital age, right? Google is your friend. So if you just Google ULab or ULab 2X, there's so many other resources, but I would strongly encourage you, again, this is what we're offering in the 6 weeks, is as packed as it gets for a journey of self-discovery, but we invite you to explore more, because that's where you will continue to uncover and evolving your own leadership capacity in transforming yourself and your surroundings. Yes, I hope that answers the question.
I also want to add on that, Shobi, because here in the program, we're focusing on also the YSEALI participants, right? The YSEALI members. But in the actual ULab, we're actually connecting with a lot of U practitioners and U learners worldwide. So I've joined the first one in a couple of years ago, and I was connected with a group with participants from across the world, in America and also in Europe. So it's interesting to know that we're not doing this ourselves, but globally that this movement is going on strong as well. So it's very interesting.
And speaking of that, we're very sorry, everyone, that if you can join the Zoom. Speaking of participation around the world, we actually received, close to 3,000 interested applicants to join this course. So we had to limit, and so we're very sorry to turn people down, but we're at capacity, and so we hope that you will continue to engage with us through Facebook and YouTube, and so be able to continue your learning process with us, even though you're not in Zoom. And we'll try our best to continue engaging you as well as we go along.
Okay, I think
is it time to bring everyone back?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yes, team, can we bring the breakout rooms participants back? And thank you. I know probably some of you are going to be cut short. Oh, and some of you are already back. Okay, I think everyone is already pushed back here. So welcome back, everyone in Zoom. For those of you who are just back from the breakout rooms, that must be a very interesting conversation that's happening. And we want to invite you here to share your voices. If you want to share with us, do raise your hand, or you can share in the chat if you want to share what have you discussed in the breakout rooms, what insights that you get.
And we probably only have time to harvest maybe two or three voices with open mic. Am I correct, Nick?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's correct. I'm sorry.
So let's take turn and make sure over the next 6 weeks, everyone gets some love.
Yep. So yes, if you want to share with the whole group, do raise your hands. It's on the reaction button underneath on the bottom of your Zoom screen. So you can click raise hand, but if you can't find it, you can also just nudge us on the Zoom chat to share with us? I know that's going to be a very interesting conversation that is happening. Or maybe co-facilitators, do you want to pick somebody from your group?
It's not about summarizing what happened in the group, okay? This is not a worksheet that you have to turn in. We just want to hear from you. What did you experience? What was your experience?
For co-facilitators, do you want to nominate somebody from your group? Okay.
Angelica from the Philippines.
Hello, Angelica, would you mind turning on your camera? And also unmute. Yes. Hello. Hi.
Go ahead. We're all ears.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Oh, there you go. Hi, everyone. So, from the Philippines, hello. We are on the farm. So, on our group, like a lot of us or a lot of our teammates has poor connection, but we tried to voice out our voices via chat and read some. And generally, what touched us to with the video that we have just watched is that in every action that we did, and in everything that we do, whatever you do, it affects every being on earth. And that we are called to collaborate and work together. That if we only do things together, we can make things better, and that there's so much we can do and innovate as well. And having a team of and many minds to be in sync on towards our goal of saving or protect or conserving our Mother Earth, and the existing um, life that we had. It will bring us to healing that we hope we could have, especially we're facing now with the pandemic. And another one is that there's always hope when it comes to no matter how hard things and challenging right now, we tried to really find ways and be connected still. So, yeah. So we're trying to be on Earth. Happy World's Environment Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Angelica. That's beautiful. And I love that you're on a farm. Say hi to your friends at the farm and also the living creatures that you have to tend to every day, that you have the luxury of tending to every day. Do we have time for one more?
One more. Oh, there you go.
Rina from the Philippines.
Rina from the Philippines. I think that, and we will ask for the host to unmute you first. All right, there you go.
There you go.
Okay.
Hi. Hello. Yeah, I also shared it with the breakout group earlier, and my friend mentioned to me that when the first time she watched the video, she cried, and I was like telling her, I'll see what I'll see what I will be experiencing or feeling by the time I watch it, and oh, she's not wrong, because it really made me feel like whatever is happening to the earth, when they mention about you can actually see from the space the thinning layer of the earth, and that struck me, because I felt like whatever is protecting the earth from the harshness of the outside is something that I was also a big contributor to what's happening to the earth. So I felt like I felt sad, and I felt like obliged to do something. But also on the second question, wherein it's asking on where do you see, or where in your life and work you're experiencing that world is dying. I think not just only during this pandemic that you actually feel that the earth is or the world is dying, but it could also be in our daily lives, in what we are experiencing every day. So it's like when we fail at some point in our lives, or if we fail at one thing, like right now, if you're experiencing something that is not normal to what we're used to or what we're accustomed to, um, we do, instead of us talking up in depression or in the darkness, or covering ourselves from the shields, or whatever that could really help us, we have to first think of how we're going to get out there, to get into the light, how we're going to help ourselves, so that we will be able to also do something that could change what we are in right now, if we are feeling or if we are experiencing something that's not normal, or if we're experiencing failures or anything like that. So it's something like, if I do something within myself to change what I'm feeling towards my community or towards my family, maybe I could also do something that could contribute to healing of the earth, something like that. So it's like doing something small so that it could contribute to a much bigger, impact. So something like that. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Rina. Send our greetings to your mother as well.
Yeah. Hey.
Thank you. Glad you found meaning in the video. Yeah, Craig from the Philippines. Also, you sound off in the chat about how our generation is, technologically we're becoming more advanced, but as part of that advancement, we are creating a world or a climate that is not for the better, right? And that's exactly, I think, what we were talking about, collectively creating results that nobody wants. We are, it's unintended consequence, right? We are all racing towards creating wealth, we're blind to the fact that in the process of doing so, we're hurting others. We're hurting other creatures. We're hurting ourselves. So hopefully through ULab, that's I think that's first awareness, and then through the next 6 weeks, we'll walk you through the process of how to understand that intention from the perspective of other actors in the system. So, so with that said, because again, this is not about changing the world. I mean, it is about changing the world, but it's also about changing yourself. So for the next few minutes, Mita will be walking us through an exercise about making this journey your own, making this journey very much about your own intention, about what you want to see happening in your life and in yourself. So Mit, go ahead.
Thank you. So when we want to invite you, as shall be summarized, and also I know that through the comments, some of you guys also have bring this very profound intention for you to create change, both within yourself and also your communities. So what we want to do is to crystallize that intention through a couple of questions here. So as you can see in the screen, what we want to invite you now is to set and crystallize what you aim for to understand in the next coming weeks for this ULab course. So if there are any one or two challenges that you're currently facing that needs you to shift from not just doing the past patterns, and you need to create more profound changes there, what are the challenges that you want to explore using the tools later on that we'll invite you to in this journey of learning together in ULab? So you can write it in your journal if you have a notebook or a journal book that you have beside you, because that's going to be the challenge that you're trying to tackle, that you're trying to explore for the next coming weeks. But also we want to hear from you. So if you're connected through the social medias, do share with us if it's possible for you to share. Just leave us a comment and share with us. And if it's very personal to you, don't worry, it's your challenge to tackle. It's okay. But if it's something interesting and you want to share with us, please do. We really want to listen to you. But for those of you in the Zoom, we will want to invite you to go in another round of the breakout where you can share these challenges. Maybe some of you are doing a similar challenge. Maybe we can work together and understand that, hey, even across countries, we're actually facing a similar challenge, right? So in a couple of minutes, we will invite you to the breakout rooms. But you can set your intentions first while our team are setting up for the breakouts. So before we go there, and also for those of you connected, you can just jump in and share. And also in Mentimeter, later on, I'll share the screen for Mentimeter as well. But before we go there, and also copy this question in the chat box just in case our participants in Zoom missed out on this. But before we go there, maybe do you have any interesting anything we want to add?
I think just this journaling is not for anyone, right? It's not. We will ask you to share, but it's really about whatever you feel like sharing voluntarily. But at the core of it, the journaling practice is about self-honesty and self-reflection. So please be open as possible. Don't censor yourself. It's not a quiz. So there's no right answer. There's only true answer or masked answer, right? So just write down whatever comes through and don't self-censor. And yeah.
All right. We will, so for those of you in the Zoom, I think you will be in the same Zoom room as before. And if the team's ready, can we put the people in the Zoom to the breakout rooms?
Okay, ready.
All right. So Zoom friends, you can go to the breakout room with our co-facilitators again. So enjoy the conversation and you can share your challenges. All right. So, but those of you joining us through the streaming platforms, yes, you can share with us in the comments. And I've also already opened the Mentimeter again. So the code is same as before. If you haven't closed up your browser, the question will change. And I see some of you has already answered the questions. Ooh. All right. So maybe I can pull that up. Oops. Wait a sec. All right. So pulling up some questions some answers we have here from Mentimeter. Okay, some challenges that you want to talk about. Career change, sustainability, a journey to self-expression. Oh, embracing towards Zen lifestyle, which I have challenged to achieve. Oh, financial challenge. Okay. How to have different opinions without judging, only acceptance. Okay. Interesting. Oh. Some are tackling very personal challenges here, like the difficulties in getting a job during this pandemic and also running an online business and not having a customer yet. Future career path and alignment to dreams and current state. Also, understanding mental health management as it is very important. That's true. Especially, yes, during the pandemic, where I think, yes, it's affecting a lot of people, especially the youth. I think it's also in this pandemic, it's not only it amplifies the broken system, some of the broken system that we're actually lives in, but it's actually magnifying as well. I think yeah, the broken system is already there before, but because there's this pandemic, it's more focused and it's more magnified, and we can now see that better. What do you think? Like there's issues in mental health. I think it's more magnified, and it's more being bringing more into attention because of the pandemic, as to a lot of things that are caused by the broken system.
Yes, I agree.
Oh, the young professional, in fact, that you are ignored and underestimated in the development because of your age, not of your skills and abilities. Oh, oh, leading a group of farmers and you. We have so many people jotting in. Thank you.
Do we have comments on Facebook or YouTube, perhaps?
Great.
Actually, there's a lot of
obviously. So sorry, everyone, but thank you for joining in. Thank you for bringing in your voice. We do look at them, but we just may not be able to address them individually. But maybe let's take a look at a few or a couple, maybe, Jenna.
So here's a good one from Fian, and she thinks that let me just read it from from how she wrote it. I think that I love the part that we should be the prototype of our change. Most about that the theory of the U-shaped model, the way the end of the old shall be the beginning of the new one. And here's a good one. It's also a comment from YouTube. So Theory U is very much timely during the pandemic. Especially, it does not only concern about business alone, however, as well as knowing what life wants you to be. Through this, it will not only contribute to having a good business, but as well as attaining self-purpose and self-discovery.
Thank you so much, Jenna. Can you remind me their names again so we can thank them?
Yeah, the last one that I read, let me just go back to that for a while.
Sorry.
The first comment was from Tien from Vietnam, I believe. And the last one that I've read is from Iana Ramos Hamarulin. I believe this is Filipino from the name.
The name?
So yeah. Iana Ramos Hamarulin and Matan Tien. I hope I said that correctly.
Thank you to both of you, and thank you, Jetta, for bringing in their voices. So I see that you're dealing with various challenges. Some about career choices, career path. Some about making your own mark in the world. Some about what to do about our larger global challenges. So whatever it is valid, and stay with it. We're not going to be able to answer all of them, obviously, right? So the invitation of ULab is to take this hard challenge, take this tension that you're feeling in your life, and using it as a force, as an energy to work towards a resolution. I used to hate tension because it doesn't feel comfortable, right? Like it stresses you out. It feels very painful sometimes, or it makes you depressed. But actually, tension just tells you that you're stuck somewhere, and that stuckness, that is exactly what it's talking about when we talk about something that is dying and something that wants to be born. Tension tells you that you're there. And so it's a question about sitting with that question, with that tension, and seeing it through to the other side so that you can welcome the new. I think part of the in Bahasa Indonesia, we call it mazhab. It's the school of thought. The school of thought of theory also involves systems thinker like Peter Senge, and Peter Senge talks about the tension. If you look at any sort of change in the world, it usually involves some sort of tension that is caused by, one, the current reality where we are right now, and the pull of wanting something different, right? That's the creative tension of wanting something to change. But then there's the emotional tension of being stuck where you are that pulls yourself down. And so it's good because that means that you want to get somewhere. So the invitation is to be able to not let your future, don't let the creative tension go away by lowering your future reality, but actually working with the current reality and making it go closer to the future. And then when you lose tension, you'll feel it too, right? When you're too comfortable, you'll get anxious again. So that's when you know you're ready for the next step of tension in your life. So it's okay. Tension is manageable. You can do this.
Yes, Jara.
Okay. I was just waiting for Shobi to finish what she's saying. So there's actually, since you mentioned about change and say prototyping, I think it was also asked earlier. There was a question from from YouTube that says, how can the LabX program give impact to the world? Has this program been held previously, and how has its impact been?
I want to be mindful of time. How much time do you have?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay. All right. So, has it been done before? Yes. And in fact, as I mentioned earlier, there's a source material to this LabX. We name ourselves LabX just like the TED. There's the TED Talk and there's the TEDx. So the main source material of LabX is a program called ULab, and it's a massive open online course run by the Presensing Institute since 2005. I think maybe close to 200,000 people, if I'm not mistaken, but I may be very wrong, since then, has taken the course, and there's a very active global practitioner working on using this methodology. We call it awareness-based systems change, how to create systemic change by transforming awareness around the world. And there's a website, it's called presensing.org, PRESENCING.org, presensing.org. So if you go there, there's more materials, there's more sources, and more opportunities for learning about the tools and practices. And if you ask about impact, I mean, that's always a tricky question that I love, because when you're working at the systemic level, it's hard to measure impact, right? It's like, this is why I love talking about the farm, as I said with Angelina. You're planting something, and if you want to see it grow tall and strong, you have to work with the quality of the soil. And the quality of the soil is a little bit more difficult to measure. You have to have the right tool, and eventually you have to wait and to see whether the plant actually grows, to see whether it's the right condition. And we're doing this on a global scale. And what I always remind our participants is, what we are undoing is work, beyond lifetimes, right? The economic system, the political system, the education system that informs the way we think and the way we enact our reality has been around for hundreds of years. So now we're just trying to learn what are the unintended consequences of that way of being as a society, and prototyping new ways and prototyping different ways of being as a species, as a society. Of course, that's going to take time. So if you want to look for impact, you have to look at the little communities where this is being practiced. And I'm sure our co-facilitators, Jara, you've been working with some communities as well. So you probably have some stories to share. I have some stories to share. But if you want to see the large scale system, I think we all have to wait. And quite possibly, we won't see the outcomes until after our lifetimes, right? I mean, you think about, I love the Martin Luther King quotes, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. And all the conversation about, equal rights and Black Lives Matter, it's now happening like decades after his passing. Right? He never sees the outcomes of what he works towards, and that may very well be the case with us. So it's a work of faith. Seeing is not seeing is believing. It's believing is seeing. So, should we call everybody back?
Yes. So, Kias and Kariski, I think we can invite the participants from breakout room back again. Maybe just let me. All right. Okay. So very interesting comments, remarks, and also thank you so much for those very insightful questions, Shobi. I mean, in my years of being Shobi's wingman, I've never heard like the same answer to the question, and always learning something new as well. So thank you so much.
I mean, yeah, I'm also an evolving practitioner. So.
All right. Welcome back, everyone in Zoom. I'm sorry if your conversation is cut short. I know 10 minutes would probably not be enough for sharing these very profound challenges that you're tackling in right now. So I hope you guys can still connect even after this and share more of your journey together with amongst of yourselves and also with us as well. But we do now want to invite you to share again with us, if you would mind to raise your hand again. So it's on the reaction button. If you want to share how do you feel after going through the conversation? If you can be open with us, if you want to share a challenge as well, that's very interesting for us to.
If I may nudge a bit, can we maybe hear from other countries? Malaysia, we have I see Indonesia, Thailand, Timor-Leste, Vietnam.
So yes. I think there's Siti from Malaysia. Would you mind? So, I think host, can you unmute? There is a Siti from Malaysia that was already. Oh, there. Siti Mastor from Malaysia.
Okay.
Okay, have you been unmuted? Okay, there you go.
Hello.
Thank you. Hello. Hi. Good evening. So my name is actually Siti Suhaiba. Okay, so just can call me Siti. I'm from Malaysia. Just now we are just having a wonderful group discussion regarding the challenges. And so for my own, I really hope that this session, the whole process, the whole program can help me for the time being. Actually, there are lots of challenges. So for the main one is actually more to my mental health, because now we are experiencing total lockdown and I'm living alone in a town without my family around. So I have to I know that I have to reprogram myself that from the negative mode right now. You are being locked down. But instead of saying like that, I have to say that you are not being locked down, but you are safe at home. So that's the challenge that I know already, but I have to reprogram every day. So I hope that from this program, I can help me weekly basis, maybe other than just my work life. Yeah, that's my challenge.
Thank you, Siti. I know it's not easy, and I can relate so much. I'm sure there are days where you feel like it just takes every ounce of strength from you to be able to tell yourself that, right? But well, hopefully, through this journey, you get to learn and love yourself more, and listen to yourself more, and gain some strength from that, and meeting your highest future potential self. So, thank you.
We forgot as well the first two participants that share with us. We haven't sent them the power whoosh.
Let's do a collective power whoosh. 1, 2, 3.
Whoosh. Okay, I think we also already have but from the Philippines that has raised their hand before. I think it's is it Rahim? Is it Rahim from Philippines? All right, there you go.
Okay, first and foremost, I would like to greet you. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. To all my brothers and sisters who are Muslims. I am from Rahim Amar from the Philippines, and the challenges that I think I would like to share with regards to and how I myself will be excited to give my perspective or to make change with this is the challenges that this is not just about myself, but also to all organizations, especially to the Muslim communities. Yes, Muslim people right now around the world experiencing from this so-called Islamophobia, and I think this challenge is not quite unfamiliar with all of us because we do suffer from this kind of Islamophobia, a kind of treatment that might be similar to the caste system being learned from the Indian culture, and this kind of Islamophobia, a kind of gap that separates us from the benefits of the majority is something that we need, or I myself can make change with this. And by the Islamic perspective, we Muslims do are peace loving people, and I want this to impart with the non-Muslim and also to the Muslim people to be encouraged to be the one who is a peace-loving people, teach the Islamic teachings with them, let them understand what Islam truly means, and I think Islamophobia will end. If we only understand the real teachings of Islam, peace will be with us all.
Thank you, Rahim. Thank you for the blessings of peace for all of us as well. Yes, we do have a long way to go working with our collective fears of what we don't understand and the misperception of others, including our Muslim brothers and sisters. So thank you. I wish you a meaningful journey through the next 6 weeks. Power wish. 1, 2, 3. Wish. Suddenly we're having a lot of
a lot of hands raising here. So we actually only have like around 15 minutes until we end the session, but there are a couple of things we need to run over. But maybe we can bring in one or two voices more. So I think it's Prastio from Indonesia. You have raised your okay. So maybe the team can okay.
Great. Thank you very much. I am Pasatio from Jakarta, Indonesia. As a just graduated medical student, I see in my clinical years that, especially in health facility, in hospital, or in community health center, that sometimes our patients in Indonesia is still experience administrative struggle. What I mean is that sometimes that many requirement that patient must bring to the community health center in order to get service from doctor of or medical professionals like and I think that it should be easier for them to seek help in hospitals and or community health center that as a just graduated medical student, I sometimes I feel that what can I do in this situation? What can I initiate to give a change that ensures patients get service, get help in community health center and or hospital easier without any with fewer administrative barrier that makes them harder to seek service in hospital and community health center. I think that's it. The challenge that I want to take.
Thank you, Ms. Prats. Thank you for your service as well for with the community. And I think what I'm getting from your sharing is the deep sense of compassion for others. I know I know there's a large number of people who are underserved by the system as a whole because they lack their birth certificate or they lack their KTP, their national identification. And thank you for bringing that into your attention and our attention now through your sharing. I wish you a good journey for the next 6 weeks, understanding and transforming that. Thank you, Power Whoosh.
Or whoosh. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Whoosh. And I know that a lot of you may, there's a lot of you who wants to share as well, but I'm sorry we can't accommodate much due to the time limitations, but we do want to bring one more voices, maybe from the comments in Facebook or YouTube or any other streaming platforms. Jara, they're very maybe insights or questions that we want to bring up before we move on to the overview of our journey for the next 5 weeks. So Jara, is there any interesting ones?
Sorry, I was on mute.
All right.
Here's a good one from Maya from Burma, and she's watching live from Thailand. So the challenges I wish to explore through the LabX learning journey are education reforms using cutting-edge technology and inclusiveness of humanity and kindness and leadership for the betterment of the country. That's from Maya Hewar. She's from Burma, but currently in Thailand.
Awesome. Thank you, Maya. Yes, the education system, I think, plays a very big role in creating the reality that we see today. In the context of theory, I think the framework that we see, our education so far only tends to the head intelligence, right? And maybe to some degree, the hands intelligence, of practical and cognitive knowledge. But we are very deficient when it comes to empathy, building character, values that are compassionate or kind, or understanding ourselves, right? How many of us are taught in schools, why do you want to do this? What is the purpose of this knowledge for society? Very little of that conversation is taking place. And so, yes, this is the application of theory in education really is cutting edge, and there are people working on that. I sound like a broken record here, but again, what we bring into ULab is only just scratching the surface. And so go look it up, or I wish there are other ways maybe we'll just write it down and then somehow come up with a way to kind of point people in the right direction of what other initiatives are being done in the same area so that we can learn and be more visible to each other. So we owe you that. But yes, there are people already working on that right now, and I'm very excited to get you connected with them. So thank you. Thank you, Dara.
Power whoosh to Maya. 1, 2, 3. All right. So thank you so much, everyone, for really putting your heart in and your attention to this learning journey for the next coming weeks. So hopefully, as Shobi also mentioned, you can find a better understanding on your challenges through our next coming weeks. But just to give you an overview and to be more clear, what is it, the learning menu, right, for the next coming 5 weeks is here in our learning journey map. So we have 6 weeks here. This is the week 0. And later on, we will initiate our first meeting. So this is just the introduction part, right? So next week, we will initiate our journey together and really go deep into theory U. And the next one will go understand more about co-sensing and how do we bring ourselves into the world and understanding from a new perspective and seeing the world as it is with fresh eyes without our perceived judgment and looking at it as it is. And the next week we will connect to our source, or this is also understood by the co-presencing, where we look back into ourselves, dive deeper into ourselves, and try to ask, what is it that I'm trying to bring into this world? Who is myself? And what is my work that I'm trying to give? And what profound changes that we want to try and bring? And the next week, in week 5, we will co-prototype. We will learn the basics of prototyping, our intention of bringing changes. And usually when we do this in our longer journey, we invite our participants to go and make their own prototype, and then we will monitor their changes. But since we only have 6 weeks, what we want to do in this week, usually we invite somebody who has gone through their prototype stories and also share how their journeys has affected their journeys with the prototype has affected what they are doing right now and the transformation that they want to bring into this world. And lastly, for you to bring home is the co-evolving week, where we will, this is going to be our last week. And actually time flies. Sometimes we don't understand, we don't feel it, but oh no, it's already 6 weeks. But in this meeting, as we try to wrap up what we have learned for the past weeks before, and also to give you some of the things you can bring home and introduce also to your teams and your communities to create your own prototypes and answering your own challenges in the communities that you're working in. So that's the overview of what we are going to do for the next couple of weeks. Bear in mind, next week we don't have a meeting yet because that's going to be a bit of a holiday for us. And we will meet again in the next 2 weeks. And because we have a long gap for the next meeting, we want to invite you to have this action item to go on to your own journey. So as Shobi said, just sitting in front of a laptop and a computer or whatever device you're working on, and going through a lecture for 2 hours every week might not create much profound change, but by doing some of these homeworks and also practicing, understanding more about what you do, hopefully can help you understand yourself better and also understanding the world around you better. So here we invite you to go through homework with what is called the empathy walk, where we invite you to go and have a dialogue with somebody who is very different from you. So the guidelines can be accessed through the link. It's bit.ly/ulabx-empathy. And so you'll have a guidelines on there. But initially, what we invite you to do is go on and meet somebody who is very different from you and have a dialogue with them to understand where they're coming from, because you rarely have conversation with people that is very different from you, right? But please do this safely. I know the situation around COVID is very different from wherever you are. If you need to do this via Zoom or via any other online platforms, whether it's a WhatsApp call or something, some sorts, it's okay to do so. Be mindful of your health and don't jeopardize other people's health as well. The core of this is to understand and to get to know the people that you rarely have conversation with, the people who are very different from you. Even like, say, you usually buy foods in your local markets, but you rarely have conversation with the people who are selling it. Maybe you can have a generate conversation with them and understand more where they're coming from, right? So, Chobi, do you have anything to add on this?
No, just well, maybe I do. Just that we have a mantra in the U practitioner community that at least at UID that the key to seeing change is the 3P. We call the first P is practice, and then the second P is practice, and the third P is practice. Right. So do it. Just go out there and do it, and then reflect on it. And it's like going to the gym. If you do it once, you won't see results, but if you continuously do it, you'll start seeing things change.
So yes, do if you're doing this, don't forget to tag us in social. If you're sharing this in social media, don't forget to tag us through our social medias, the YCLE platforms, the America or the UID platforms. Please share your story with us. It's going to be very interesting. But to wrap things up, as I mentioned before, we're going to meet again in 2 weeks. So it's in June 19th, and the next Saturday. For those of you on Zoom, we will meet again and we will take your attendance here. But for those of you joining online through our other social media platforms, you are still eligible for a certificate as well. So, sorry, just to trace back again. So everyone who joins this course are eligible to get a certificate of the course if you join at least 4 out of the 6 sessions. So it's if you join 4 out of the 6, you can get a course certificate. But if only, so for us to track your attendance better, so for those of you joining online, you need to check in through this link. So it's very important. Please check in through the link bit.ly/ulab dash week 1. It's 1 with a number. So it's on the screen. It's bit.ly/ulab dash week 1. So, but for those of you joining on Zoom, you already got your attendance. So if you join again for the next 6 weeks, we will take your attendance. And if you join 4 out of the 6, you can get a certificate. And also for those of you who are asking whether this presentation will be available online, it will. It is going to be available in this Google Drive. It's bit.ly/ulabx 2021-online. So maybe Shobi later if we have any interesting links about the changes, the U practitioners that has created change worldwide, we can share that in the Google Drive as well. But later on, we will check again where what's the best way for us to connect better with our participants, especially for those joining online. Absolutely. So yes, please do take note of these 2 links. That's very important, especially if you want to get the certificates and also for you to access.
Yeah, I think that the team monitoring can maybe copy paste them in the pinned comment or something so that you can just click it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. So yes, co-facilitators, if you would mind to copy the links in the chat so our participants in Zoom can access this through just clicking the link. All right. So I think that wraps up from my side. I mean, this is such a blessing and overwhelming experience because I think in our experience of doing ULab for the past years, this is the first time, as Shobi mentioned, this is the first time we're doing it full online. And I think because it's full online and it's on a Saturday, a lot of you are actually able to join wherever you are. So it's very interesting that we are able to connect with you wherever you are in a very big number. So and it's also touching to listen to the insights as well that a lot of you are very moved to create changes. So I wish you all the best in what you do. Hopefully, we are here to support you as well. And we do believe that all of these changes can be made if we all work on it together. So, Shobi, do you want to add anything before we move on to the America team?
Deep gratitude to all of you joining. There's a huge, there were 33 of us behind the scene holding the space for you to learn. And so I'm very grateful to the At America team, to our facilitators, as well as to all of you joining. I really hope that we can, I want to really say that technology can make a positive difference, right? It's not always alienating, but it can actually connect and help you, it's for a good cause. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Our whoosh to everyone. 1, 2, 3. Whoosh. Thank you so much, everyone. So maybe, so if everyone could open their cameras and say goodbye or wave to the camera.
Are we doing group? No group photo. We're not doing
Is it able to have a group photo at America team, or is it not? All right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Over to Element.
Yeah. Sound.
All right.
Oh no, Marco, you're muted.
Oh no, we're losing your voice.
Start over. Unmute. You need to unmute you first.
Thank you, everyone. Saying goodbye on the chat. Yes, stay safe and stay healthy. We will meet in the next 2 weeks, but do connect with us through social media, tag us, share your insights and your journeys with us. It will be very interesting.
Okay,
all right.
Sorry, Mita, let's everyone. No. Let's have everyone turn on the camera. I try to take the pictures.
All right. Okay. So if you're still here, you can turn on your cameras, Zoom participants. Bring on your best smile.
Okay, everybody. 1, 2, 3. The first page first. Okay, now the second page. Good one, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Terima kasih semuanya. I think you can unmute if you can. I don't know if you can.
I don't think so.
Please sign off. Please sign off in your own language. I love seeing the diversity. Say goodbye. Say see you. Say thank you. Whatever it is. Sign off in the comments or in the chat. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you so much, everyone.
Bye. Co-facilitators,
Our co-facilitators.
Thank you, everyone. See you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye. See you.
Bye-bye, Lynn. Thank you. Oh, actually, co-facilitators, if you can stay just a little bit so that we can debrief and get your insights on what we can do better next time.
Oh, okay. Thank you semuanya. Sorry, we got. Yeah, sorry about the hiccups at the end.
Oh, was the unmute. It's okay.
That's on that's